Hello and welcome to my post-capitalist kitchen. Today we're going to talk about activated charcoal and how it can help you treat infections, common ones that nursing moms and babies might face. So this is something that I've recently done in the last month, and I came up with a way to treat diaper rash, which I hadn't thought of before. So before we get into that, I want to apologize for the angle of this video. I have a new phone. I don't have some of the tech stuff that I was using a few weeks ago. I had to get rid of all that. I had a security breach. So bear with me. Once again, I'm rebuilding my tech skills and equipment, and I'm going to just hold things up for you and show you what I have today because I really wanted to get this video out and talk about it because, like I mentioned, activated charcoal is something that can be so helpful to those of us who doctor at home. So activated charcoal, I have it here. I buy it in bulk. And this is used to draw out impurities. And this is something that, this is actually mixed with some myrrh powder, which myrrh is a balancing component. And so if you have an infection, this is a disinfectant powder and it can help draw out the impurities and then rebalance the body to where it needs to be so that it can heal. A few weeks ago, I came down with a case of mastitis. I'm a nursing mom. I have 5 children. I've nursed them all. And I've had mastitis before. Typically when I first have a baby, I've had it and I've treated it. But this time, I haven't had a baby in over a year. So it's kind of strange. But, when you get mastitis, you need to treat it immediately. It can become very serious very quickly. And so I jumped right into action. Something that I did is at night I mixed up the activated charcoal to draw out the infection with some flax seed, that's what this is, ground flax seed, into a poultice, mixed it with some warm water. I placed it over the affected area. I bandaged it up because it is messy. And then I put a heating pad on it to help break up that infection. I did that every night until the symptoms subsided, the pain subsided. And then you want to treat, anytime you use herbal medicine or natural medicines, you treat for 3 days after symptoms subside, just to make sure everything's out of your system and your body is where it needs to be. So I did that. And you can also use a cabbage leaf in your bra just during the day. And I've done that in the past. I don't know why cabbage works, but it does. So if you feel that happen, I tend to get it right here. And if you feel that in your breast, you need to treat it immediately. And this way you don't have to go and get antibiotics. You don't have to go to the doctor and blah, 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 all that stuff, right? This is the way to do it. So along with the poultice in the evenings at night, I also use, these are garlic capsules that I have, but you could also just eat raw garlic. We keep honey garlic around too. So if somebody has an infection of anything or a virus, they are consuming garlic because garlic is like a natural antibiotic. So I was taking 2 of these capsules every hour while during the treatment of this issue. And I also was taking a couple droppers of this echinacea tincture that I make, again, every hour. Because when you do natural medicine, it's early, often, and after. Completely different from the Western medicine of just pop a pill, go back to work, everything's fine. That is not how the body works. That is not how the body heals. And I can say this with 100% confidence that if you can learn to tune into your body, treat it right away, your infections and illnesses will be much, much, much less. So along with the echinacea and garlic to boost my immune system, I used rose hips, which are a natural vitamin C. And these are some that we forage locally here. A lot of the old mining sites have wonderful abundance in the fall of fruit, and this is something that we get. One of my favorites. So again, like I said, I did that for a few days until the pain subsided. Made sure to take hot showers along with massaging the infected area to break up any infection, let the body flush that out, and then rebalance. And it worked. It was great. So the second thing that I used activated charcoal for recently, which I have never done this, and I was quite pleased that I came up with this on my own, is I had to treat a really nasty case of diaper rash. So I don't typically have to deal with a lot of diaper rash. I use cloth diapers, and I train my children very early to use the toilet. When they're just a couple months old, I do a traditional toilet training method. Some people call it the elimination method, but I just figured it out. Like, nobody wants to sit in soiled pants, so help your children get to the pot. So we came about a month or 6 weeks ago, we came down with a pretty nasty stomach bug in the house. And so the toileting schedule was off for my 1-year-old. And she ended up with a pretty messy pair of pants a few days. And she ended up with a diaper rash because of that. And it was an ugly case. There were blisters. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is pretty bad. So I thought, what can I use to draw out the infection, to get rid of these blisters? Well, activated charcoal, right? So it's a little messy. Yes, it stains the diapers, but you know what? My whole life is stained. It's okay. So I just took a little cotton ball, dabbed this in, and every time she either went to the bathroom or, changed her diaper, and just dabbed it on her bottom on the affected area. Did that until the blisters, opened up, everything cleared up. It took about a week, I'd say, and it worked. It drew them right out. I didn't have to, get any special creams. I don't have any of that stuff in the house. Store-bought creams. I don't even have baby powder in the house. I have never bought baby powder for my 5 babies. I have used cornstarch and potato starch occasionally, but I don't even do that anymore because they just don't, it's not really an issue in this house. They don't sit in soiled diapers to get that rash. So as soon as the rash cleared up, the sores, the skin was starting to close up, I started to use, and I know it's not, none of my stuff's very aesthetically pleasing because it's stuff that we make at home and we use, so I can't make it look all like kitschy millennial style for you. But this is just a salve that I make. It can be used for any sort of skin issue. It's calendula, some lavender in it, some plantain, the herb plantain, not the banana type fruit. Those are 2 different things. So I make a salve with this, and you can put it on anything from a skin knee to a sore bottom to, you have a burn or something, you need something mild, a mild skin issue. So we did that. She cleared right up. It was great. So I really wanted to share this with you because as our systems continue to fail in the United States of America, including the medical system, which it is failing, many of us may find that relearning those doctoring at home skills that our great-grandmothers had, this is such a successful way of thriving in in late stage capitalism. And since I've learned these skills of how to doctor most things at home, for myself and my family, we can treat most things that a family comes into contact with. All those colds and flus and stuff, I can get that out of the house very quickly. Bumps and bruises and mild infections and stuff, we really don't have to run to the doctor for anything. Knock on wood. I will knock on wood for that. So I recommend that if you're interested in learning these skills, there is an abundance of resources out there. You just have to look around. There's people offering classes. There might be something at your local co-op, or maybe you're lucky enough to live in an area with like an herb collective or people actually teaching these skills in person. But if you can't find that in person, learn online, look in old Amish books, health books. I use, a lot of my recipes come from Mennonite and Amish traditional medicine. You could look into traditional native medicine. I've learned a lot from them too. There's an abundance of knowledge out there. You just want to pick something and start, dipping your toes in if you're not sure. And this is the way that humans evolved and saw, this is how we treated everything for forever until just the last, 100 years with the industrialized medical system. And I don't think that we should put all of our eggs in the basket of the American healthcare system anymore, particularly in 2025. It's not going to improve. We're glad we're there when we need it, when there's an actual emergency, but things like mastitis and diaper rash, I believe that we should be able to treat those things at home with just some basic skills and a well-stocked first aid cabinet, which I highly recommend we all have. So I hope that that's helpful, and take care. I will be back soon from my post-capitalist kitchen.